So I'm sitting there, barbecue sauce on my kitties.
Wait, kitties?
Listen, you don't know what I'm about.
Welcome back, spooky friends, to Crypts and Corks. I'm your host, DJ, here as always, per usual, with my co-host, Paul.
Paul, as usual, you said my name. I'm supposed to say my own name. Wow. I'm being slowly shunned. I can't even say my name.
No, you're not allowed to talk. You cut me, you edited me out of last episode, so it was just, wow, oh geez.
For those at home, I told DJ, so I've been editing the episode, and I told DJ that I edited him out of the last episode, and it's nothing but a half hour of me saying, wow, cool, oh, geez, spooky.
I feel like there's somewhere in there where you make a sex joke that makes no sense because there's no context.
Probably, that would make sense.
Well, Paul, how are you at this most wonderful time of the year now that it's December?
You know, I'm feeling okay. Work's that much bearable because we have something to look forward to. The Hallmark movies are on. I'm not too into the Hallmark movies, but you know, they're on.
I found that the Hallmark movies are better if you watch them in reverse, where a girl leaves the hunky lumberjack, toy maker, baker, Christmas tree farmer, and the small town Christmas village and goes and pursues her dream of being a kick-ass career woman with some fabulous shoes.
See, that's my life story besides the hunky man, you know? I left my small town for the big city.
Yeah, from where you're from, you're lucky if the man has teeth.
Right.
Let alone muscles.
Right. Where I'm from, the men, yikes. But honestly, I haven't found a man here yet, so maybe I should go back and just give it a chance.
Well, here in Pittsburgh, you're lucky if the man has two brain cells to rub together.
That's very true. And the men around here, they do be giving you one-word answers on the dating apps, like Tinder. Awful. Conversations are so dry.
I always know that it's a dead end when they start with sup.
Right. Or you just say, hey, and then it's, what's up? Not much, you. Not much. How is your day? Good. Good. And it ends there.
And somehow you forgot the most important line that comes with the guy who starts with hey or sup. Send nudes.
Right, but that's more Grindr than Tinder.
Oh no, I've gotten it on Tinder.
You can't even send nudes on Tinder.
Snap, question mark.
See, that's where it leads. You know what they're after when they're, like, asking for Snap.
When they say Snap, I go, can't we text like adults?
Right, but also, I do appreciate Snap, too, because it's a good way to verify if that person is real or not. Like, send me a video of you, send me a live picture.
You have an iPhone. You can FaceTime.
That's true. I can FaceTime now that I have an iPhone. And for those at home, I recently switched to Team iPhone a couple months ago, so...
Yeah, you spent oodles of money on an iPhone. I spent oodles of money on equipment.
Right. Well, I'm about to buy myself a new laptop so we can, like, edit. Well, I can edit at my house and stuff. My computer I have right now, like, it doesn't let me get on Netflix. It doesn't let me get on certain websites. It's so old. Like,
yeah.
It's time for a new one.
It's time. Santa Claus has to bring you a new one.
I know. Or at least a down payment on one. Because those MacBooks are so expensive, girl.
I know.
They're like $1,000, and that's for like the refurbished ones. And it's like, ma'am, Mr. Apple.
Well, I mean, I get the air because I didn't think when I got it that I would be doing
this.
I thought I'd just be, writing my little novels and in Microsoft Word.
Right. Checking Gmail.
Dear publisher, I'm such a writer.
Oh my gosh.
We should have done a Sex and the City joke, like, is it time to write the book, or is it time for the book to write me?
That's poetic. That's deep.
I swear that's like a Sex and the City meme where it's like, I asked myself this, but reverse.
Oh my gosh. That does sound very Carrie, honestly.
I love Sex and the City. It's iconic. I feel like it's something that everyone has to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless of age, background, sexual orientation. I feel like it has a little of something to give to anyone. And that's the spirit of Christmas and all the other winter holidays.
Exactly. I like how you were able to tie Sex in the City into Christmas.
Absolutely.
That's a real author there.
I try.
You're doing great.
Doing great, sweetie. I'm so glad because I'm so sleep deprived because I'm cat sitting.
Mm-hmm. How's that?
One of the old cat is a grumpy old man, and he comes and he kneads my face and yells at me at 5 o'clock in the morning because he wants breakfast.
Oh my gosh.
And here's the thing. I won't feed him at 5 o'clock in the morning because if I do that, at 6 o'clock he's doing the same thing.
Oh my gosh. That's a lot.
Yeah, I don't do it till like 8. So that by the time he's ready to like come back and meow at me for new food, I'm leaving to go to work.
Right. Well, at least it's only temporary. You're only sitting for a little bit.
I did not inherit the cats. But speaking about inheritance, you inherit possessions, and so let's get into the episode, which is about a haunted object.
Speaking of possession.
Oh, Jesus, it's not a possession story. So, Paul, can I tell you a story?
Yeah.
So first we have our pairing. It is the most wonderful season, the most wonderful time of the year. I totally butchered it.
It's fine.
Paul was kind enough to pick out our pairing today, and he got an Italian Christmas white. It is a Pinot Grigio, a festive and fruit-rich, crisp and dry Italian white created especially for the Yuletide season and to complement winter fare. An ideal gift or affectionate token. Share it with family and friends this Christmas season. And if I read that wrong, that's because I did not have my glasses on and I was struggling to read the label.
And this one doesn't have a cork.
And I cracked it as you were talking.
You know what? It's fine. Pretend that was the pop, guys.
So fabulous. That's like we're also drinking out of rocks glasses because I'm cat sitting.
We're in a new studio today.
We are because I'm cat sitting.
DJ's aunt's house.
Thanks, Aunt Michelle. She doesn't know I'm doing this right now.
It's okay. It's not on video.
It's not on video. And also, we're not doing a rager. We're sitting at her dining room table talking about ghost stuff.
Right, exactly.
And her and my cousin don't listen to this, so totally off topic here, but this isn't a very lot of research episode, so I can say this. So my beloved uncle died back in March.
Mm-hmm.
He was like a father to me, and this was his house. And like today, like that recliner in the living room, today was the first time I sat in it since before he died.
Mm-hmm.
In March. Because I was like, that's Uncle David's chair. I am not sitting in it.
Did it bring up any feelings, any emotions?
I did smell poo, but I think one of the cats farted because they were sitting next to me.
You know, that would make sense.
There was no poos, which is why I think it was a fart.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I have been sleeping on the couch because the kittens sleep in the guest bedroom, and I don't want to sleep with kittens all night.
You know, I like sleeping on the couch. I sleep on the couch all the time.
It's a very comfortable couch. You're going to have to try it. It's new. They just got it last year. But normally, when I used to, because they also have a dog who's staying with friends of my aunts, which is good because we would not be able to get this done. But because my uncle was so sick before he died, and like he was sick in that bed, in that room, I'm like, I can't sleep in here. I know.
It's haunted, maybe? Like spooky?
This house is definitely haunted. Like, Uncle David, you're here. Give us a sign. Whisper something only I would know. Or be like, holy shit, that's Uncle David, into the microphone.
He just calls you the F slur.
My father would, not my uncle. And that is why my uncle was my dad.
There you go.
He raised me like his own, which is why I said that. My uncle was not my dad.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized like how that sounded, and I was like, yeah.
Better fix that.
Paul, let me tell you a story for real this time.
We have to try the wine, girl.
Shit.
Let's your cheers.
That's nice.
She's a dry white. I expected it to be a little more fruity, but you know.
No, I can taste the fruit. But it is a dry.
This is definitely the wine you take to a party that you don't mind other people drinking. Like that a cheap wine you take to a party, like a Christmas party, and be like, oh, look, it's Christmas. And like, it's good enough to pass, like you put in some effort. Like it tastes good enough where people aren't going to question it.
Well, you know what? That would go well with turkey.
Oh, it would. So this would be a good table wine too.
Yes. Because I was looking at the front, and it's like it says a fruity wine made for the winter season. On the back, it said it goes with winter fare, which I think they mean food.
Right.
And I was like, well, I wouldn't want this with ham because ham's kind of salty, and I don't think this would go well with the salt of the ham.
Right.
And I was like, and I started thinking of like other like winter food, and I'm thinking about like Charles Dickens, and I'm thinking like goose. Who eats goose? Pheasant. Who eats pheasant? And I was like, turkey. And I was like, oh, turkey.
Yeah, turkey, or maybe even chicken if you roasted chicken.
Oh, it would go, but specifically roasted chicken. You could not do this with like chicken parm.
No, or like fried chicken. Well, maybe fried chicken.
Fried chicken.
Who knows?
There's a KFC at the bottom of the road. We might have to hit them up later.
Okay. Sounds good.
We already discussed what we're getting for food.
Yes.
Paul, let me tell you a story. For realsies. In 1904, a little boy was given a doll. He quickly became enraptured by his new friend, dressing it in his own clothes, giving it his own name, and whispering secrets to it. Just a small child with an imaginary friend, right? But what about when another, deeper voice answers? And what about when the doll begins to move on its own? This unique object has been called the world's most haunted doll. Today we're discussing Robert.
Robert the doll.
Yes.
I know a little bit about this doll, actually.
Good. I really struggled in my research for this, so please, if I don't cover something, interject.
Okay.
Because, like, everything that I was finding was just, like, I had, like, 4 websites with really good information, and then everything else was just, like, rehashing.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna do a little debunk at the end.
I'm here for it. And little disclaimer, all I know about Robert the doll is from, like, Ghost Adventures and, like, the paranormal things.
Okay, cool. So, let's start with, who is Robert? Robert is a doll in the likeness of a young boy. He is 40 inches tall, so that is just over 3 feet, just under 4.
Okay.
He was manufactured by the Steiff Company of Germany. His current owners are a museum, and they think that he may have originally been intended as a window display figurine as part of a set of clowns or gestures, and he probably had, like, clown makeup early on.
Okay.
He wears a sailor suit that was not original to the manufacturer, and it's believed to be an original set of clothing from the little boy who owned him. And he has his own stuffed dog.
I think it's interesting that the clothing might be from that little boy who owned him, because that adds a little bit of energy.
It definitely adds a little bit of energy. And I am going to get a picture of Robert the doll. And Robert does not curse like PTD.
Do you think Robert ever went by Bob? Do you think he ever had a fuck-ass Bob? Do you think he's a Barb?
See, you said that, and I said, have you ever seen that meme where it's like, when somebody's named Robert, it's Bobby, Bob, Robert.
Right. Robert's the formal government name.
No, like, that's like, you go by Bobby until you're like 45.
Mm-hmm.
Or until you're like 30, and then between 30 and 50, you're Bob.
Mm-hmm.
And then so you're just, when you're named Robert, you go by Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go by Rob. And then you end up being Robert.
Mm-hmm.
And then around the time you turn 55, 60, you're Bob.
Dang. Just all downhill, honestly.
It's like an evolution.
Mm-hmm. It's like Pokemon.
But this is Robert.
Okay. I've definitely seen pictures of him before. He looks He doesn't look that spooky, honestly. The dog's kind of cute.
He... See, I think the dog is scarier than him.
I don't know. I like the dog.
Okay. Please go look at the picture in our photo dump. So, how did Robert come to be? He was gifted to Robert Eugene Otto, who is a 4-year-old boy, in 1904. There are various stories about who presented it to the 4-year-old. One common legend says it was a Bahamian girl who worked for the family, and she was mistreated in some way, or she was fired, and so she gave this doll, which she had created with voodoo or dark magic.
Okay, so she put a curse on him.
Yes, or as I like to call it, white people being scared of things they don't understand.
Oh, you said hoodoo?
Voodoo.
Voodoo, okay, voodoo.
Because white people don't understand things they don't.
Right.
Sorry, I messed that up. White people mysticize and are scared of things they don't understand.
Right. And I imagine like the family that had the doll were probably like Catholic or something like that.
With a last name like Otto? Oh, fuck yes.
Yeah, so like anything paranormal, especially like they were probably in like the 1930s or whatever.
Yeah, like this is turn of the century.
Oh, this was like the early 2000s?
No, 1904.
Oh.
I said that.
Girl.
I've said it like 3 times.
Okay, listen. I'm just doing my best here.
Oh, you heard it here, folks. Robert's a hoax.
Leave me alone, okay?
Okay.
I'm doing my best.
We're moving on. I want to say that I don't think that it was voodoo just because we've all seen voodoo dolls. This is a nearly 4-foot tall doll. Why? Why you gotta make it that big?
Well, they wouldn't make voodoo dolls that big, I don't
No, and this doll is nearly 4 feet tall.
Right, exactly.
And also, why are you giving the people the voodoo doll?
Right, you wouldn't. You would keep it so you could, like, do your magic on it. I mean,
exactly.
Unless you already did your magic and then give it to them so the magic can infect
No, I keep
from
the
within.
voodoo doll of you under my bed and take it out and prick it when you make me mad.
Wow.
Not really. Not really. Although I do love the voodoo dolls that you can get off Amazon and they come in like a toy pack.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Just the packaging sublime.
Oh, you mean those little keychain things?
Yeah, they come with like pins, but they come in like those plastic containers with the cardboard backing.
Yeah, and there's all the different ones. Those ones are kind of cute.
And just the packaging, because it's like, it's marketed as a real voodoo doll, except for like there's little like disclaimers on the bottom of the packaging that says like, not for real magical use, for entertainment purposes strictly. But they're just so, like, the attention to detail is just chef kiss.
I agree. They're very cute.
So yeah, that's why I don't think that it was a Bahamian girl who gave it to them. Also, I feel like that would have come up a lot more. More than likely, it was actually bought by Robert Eugene Otto's grandfather while traveling in Germany. Because remember, it was made in Germany.
Right.
And fun fact about this company, they manufactured the original teddy bears.
Oh, really? So they were the first ones to do teddy bears?
Yes.
Wow, the more you know.
So, Robert Eugene Otto loved this doll so much that he named it Robert and insisted that he go by Gene, short for Eugene, his middle name, henceforward. Gene was the son of the affluent Mr. and Mrs. Thomas Otto. The family lived in a large house, 534 Eden Street in Key West, Florida.
Oh, they were in America. Oh, girl, okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was picturing them in, like, Europe.
No, Robert is a uniquely American doll. Being.
Okay. And, like, honestly, I am already feeling like, so he named this doll after himself. He put him in his clothes. There's already so much energy going on there. So much of Robert's energy going into this doll, like
Also,
personal energy.
I think a lot of people overlook a very important factor. Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Florida's just intrinsically haunted.
Right. If you know anything about Florida, only the craziest shit goes down there.
Dudes fighting alligators. I don't want to like perpetuate too many myths, but I mean I do read Florida news.
Right. And you know, it does make sense now that Robert the Doll would come from Florida.
So this is the house.
Ooh, that's a nice house.
I told you they're affluent.
Oh, y'all need to go look at this house on Instagram.
We're gonna have it in the
Because this house is beautiful. A nice beach house, girl.
Yeah, with the wraparound balconies, pretty pink shutters, a tower.
The things I would do to live in a house like that.
So, Gene was very infatuated with his new friend, Robert. He took him everywhere, and he insisted that he would have a place set for him at the dining room table for dinner, and that he get his own plate of food. Normal imaginary kid things, like... I had a teddy bear when I was little, and it was like, he has, like, I will not sit at this dining room table without my teddy bear.
Mm-hmm.
But here's where it gets weird. Whenever Gene was caught doing something that he wasn't supposed to be doing, he would say, Robert did it.
Well, that's normal kid stuff.
That's normal.
Yeah.
Except when the things start getting weird.
Mm-hmm.
And also... his parents would hear Gene playing with Robert in another room, and he'd be whispering like, oh, da, 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 and then hear, wah, 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 wah.
Okay, that's spooky.
I don't know what was whispered. That was my impression of a male demonic voice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes I look at my mom and I think I want to take her hairpin out and stick her in the butt with it. You should do that.
Oh my god, just that little devil on your shoulder telling you to do things you shouldn't.
Exactly. Things really escalated one night when Gene's parents were awoken by his screams and the sounds of furniture moving.
Mm-hmm.
They ran to his room and found the door locked when it shouldn't have been. Finally, they pried it open and the room was in a state of chaos with all the furniture either knocked over, turned on its head, thrown from where it should have been. And Gene was huddled in bed with his back pressed up against the headboard, staring in fear at Robert, which was not in the chair where he was left, but rather sitting at the foot of the bed, staring at Gene. And all Gene could say was, Robert did it.
Oh my gosh, that's spooky.
And this is a little boy.
Right.
This is still a little boy. Like, I'm saying, like, he's somewhere between the ages of 6 and 8 when this happens. And, like, furniture was different back then.
It was heavier.
It was heavy. How's an 8-year-old kid going to move everything in his room?
Right. Yeah, I feel like the parents would have heard it a long time before, like I feel like it all happened at once, I feel like, because the parents would have heard it quicker, I feel like, and came in and stopped him before, like, the whole room got a mess. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. They would have heard that one chest of drawers knock over and they'd be like, Gene, what the fuck you doing?
Exactly. They would have been on that.
And this is back when kids got beat.
Right.
Gene knew this. Why do you think he blamed Robert?
Right. And Robert probably knew it too, and he was trying to get this kid beat.
You're right, but I was about to say, do you think whenever, like, Gene blamed Robert, they would, like, beat Robert?
Maybe.
Like, as an example?
Mm-hmm.
Because Gene was the youngest of their 3 sons.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the family, they were like, okay, fine, we'll hit Robert. We'll hit Robert.
Oh my gosh.
Except he didn't make that noise because he's, like, full of straw.
Right.
And not meat. I'm full of meat.
Right.
These strange occurrences continued. Gene's parents would hear him talking to Robert, and an entirely different voice would answer. Sometimes they would see flashes of movement out of the corner of their eye when nothing was actually there. They'd hear running up and down the stairs when Gene was sitting right in the room with them and no one else was in the house. They'd hear devilish giggling from the room where Robert was. They would get reports from neighbors who saw Robert in upstairs windows watching them.
Girl, not that part.
Yeah, like, Gene would, like, go to school and leave, like, Robert in a chair sitting at the bottom of his bed, and suddenly, like, somebody looks up and there's Robert looking out the window like,
That's creepy to me. Okay.
Oh, it just gets creepier. So Robert had painted facial features, and they would change if he would, when people were talking about him, they would change as if he was listening in on the conversation and reacting.
Oh my gosh.
As Gene grew older, his toys would be mutilated, and he would fearfully say Robert did it.
Mm-hmm.
On one occasion, a plumber was working alone in the house when he heard laughter. He looked into a room to see that Robert had moved from one side of a window to the other, and the toys that had been set around him had been thrown across the room.
See, that's spooky. And it brings more credibility that it's not just happening to the family, it's happening to other people too. And like the neighbors are seeing this doll in the window and things.
Yeah. And like, I feel like there were times when somebody was like walking their dog and like, oh, look, it's a beautiful house. And you look up, oh, wow. Like I love Mrs. Otto's roses. And your dog pugs and it's like, what are you doing, Schnookums? And then you look up and then this doll is just at you through the window.
Right.
And I know that's The Shining, but it works.
It's fine. It's close enough.
Gene would eventually leave Key West to go to study art in Chicago, New York, and Paris.
Wow, he's got talent.
Yeah, he
Period.
studied at the Chicago School of Fine Arts, or is the Institute of Fine Arts,
Mm-hmm.
one of the two. And then he studied in New York for a while, and then he went to attend the Sorbonne in Paris.
I wonder what his art is like. I wonder if his art is like really dark, you know? Like, because he has had this demon around him his life, so you would think
so
that.
I didn't pull any of it before because it's really not that exceptional.
Yeah. Okay, it's an average painting. You could find that at the Goodwill.
I mean, this is one that came up a lot. It's flowers in a vase.
Yeah, it's very average. I mean, it's well done. It's very
very
pretty.
good. It's much better than I could do. But it's not Monet. It's not Van Gogh.
not groundbreaking.
No. But you have to remember, he was a rich boy. He could do that. He was a nepo baby. He was inheriting money. He could do this for fun.
Must be nice.
In 1930, Gene married Anne Parker, an accomplished pianist in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
After living in New York for several years, his parents died, and the couple returned to Key West and took up residence in Gene's childhood home. Do you know who else was still living in the home?
Oh my god, was Robert still there?
Robert was still there.
Oh my gosh, they kept him.
So, I mean, think about this. So this is in the mid to late 30s, and Gene was 4 in 1904.
Mm-hmm.
So he is in his mid 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And this doll is still around.
Right. I wonder if they tried to throw it away and it just kept coming back type thing.
Well, Gene turned the turret room into a studio and into a bedroom for Robert.
That's a little weird.
Robert had his own toys, his own bed, his own clothes. And Gene also made this into his painting studio where he spent most of his time.
Mm-hmm.
Still talking to Robert.
That's so weird. Like, he came back and picked up right where he left off with Robert.
Yes.
As a 30-year-old man. Something's going on there.
Let's bump it up to 40.
Yeah,
Let's bump it up. We're just going to round up to 40.
Either way.
He's nearly 40.
Either way, it's weird.
Residents of Key West would agree that Gene was eccentric.
Mm-hmm.
Because not only did he make this room for his doll, not only did he talk to his doll, he took the doll everywhere with him.
Girl.
Could you imagine? Okay, so I can just imagine like some rich lady. This is Key West in the 30s. And going to the studio. Darling, I absolutely adore this painting. I simply must meet the artist.
Mm-hmm.
And she's introduced to a fucking 40-year-old man carrying a doll.
Oh my god.
But you know that rich old woman was probably like, Mr. Otto, you are one of the most interesting men I've ever met in my life.
Right, they probably just attributed it to being one of those quirky artist things.
Yes.
But I also picture him like going on a date with this doll. Like, you just show up on a date and there's a man sitting in a booth with the doll next to him.
Okay.
Do you run or do you stay?
So, Anne reportedly hated Robert and demanded that the only way that she would stay is if Robert remained in the turret.
Okay. Wait, who is this?
His wife, Anne.
Oh, I didn't know he was married.
I just started that after him going to Paris.
I'm so sorry.
Remember I said she was an accomplished Paris?
Listen.
When I meant to say pianist.
Yeah, I remember that part. I didn't remember the wife part. See, short-term memory loss, kids.
Would you like me to rewind and just start over?
No,
Okay.
it's fine.
Okay. Yeah. So she felt very uncomfortable in Robert's presence, demanded that he stay in the turret room.
Mm-hmm.
But him and Anne would go out for date night, and Anne would say, "Oh, Gene, I'm so glad we get this time together." And Gene would go, "I wonder what Robert's doing." And
See, that's
no,
crazy.
I'm making this up. I'm making that up.
Okay.
And then they go home, and they turn on the lights in the living room, and Robert's just sitting there in his bathrobe and curlers waiting for them to get home.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it would be creepier if he wasn't a curlers in a bathrobe when he was actually supposed to be in a sailor suit, but...
See, that's camp, though. I would think that's very campy. That would be so funny. I'd be here for it.
But no, like, he would escape.
Oh, Robert would?
He would escape!
Where would he go?
Around the house!
Oh, I thought you meant escape the house.
No, he would just... No, but that would make a great sequel.
Oh. Did they make a movie?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
So neighborhood children continued to report that Robert would watch them from windows, and they would walk past and they would think they were fine, and they would get to the side of the house and Robert would be in a side window suddenly watching them. Or they're walking up and Robert's in a side window and they hurry up and they get to the front of the house and Robert's looking out the front window.
Okay, that's crazy.
Some of them even said that he would mock them.
How?
I don't know. All I could find was they would go, "Mr. Otto, your doll's mocking us."
Girl, I need to know if they're hearing things or if he's just he's writing signs to them.
Hey, Duck. Hey, Duck. You'll never amount to anything. Just like your father.
Bury that, I guess. Yeah.
That vine.
Oh, okay. The one where he's yelling at the duck.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said that. Hey, Duck.
Okay, I didn't understand the word you said, the first
Sorry,
word
I was
you
doing
said.
smoker voice for funniness because obviously Robert has a smoking voice.
I could picture it, I could feel a demon having, I keep calling Robert a demon. We don't know if he's a demon or not, but I feel like
don't do
Robert
that.
is. And he probably would have a voice like that.
So, guests and visitors to the house would hear footsteps and giggling from upstairs, even though Gene and Anne would be downstairs with them.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, Gene continued to go to the turret room to talk to Robert.
Someone needs to check on this man.
Well, somebody should have, but it's too late because Gene died in 1974.
Oh, that's sad.
And he left his house and Robert to Anne.
Mm-hmm.
And Anne did what any kind, loving wife would do when their husband said, "Take care of Robert for me." She put him in a box, nailed the box shut, stuck the box under another box, locked the attic.
See, I would have buried Robert with Gene.
See, that makes so much sense, though.
Right? Why? That was his favorite possession. Why wouldn't you bury him?
Yeah,
with
he's had this since he was 4. He had that doll for 70 years.
Exactly.
And ain't nobody. Well, I don't know. Maybe he wanted to be painted with his paints, buried with his paints.
There's still room for a doll, I feel like.
I don't know. He's nearly 4 foot tall.
That's
a whole person.
That's true. Whatever,
You know what? They could have put Robert in a baby casket and put that casket on top of Gene's.
Right. And what would have been real creepy is if Robert digs his way out of the grave.
Oh, no. Now you're just turning this into Chucky.
Or Carrie.
Carrie's not a doll.
But she dug herself out of the grave at the end.
No, that was a dream.
Oh, that was a dream?
That was a dream.
Girl, I need to brush up on this stuff.
We'll watch Carrie sometime.
I've seen Carrie. I know she comes out of the ground at the end.
No, the other girl, the only girl who is nice to her, goes to lay flowers there, and the hand shoots out.
Yeah, exactly, and it's Carrie.
And then you realize it was just a dream.
I don't remember the dream part, but I believe you.
You just manufactured a scary ending because you didn't like that it was a dream.
Probably. Sounds like me.
Yeah. Kind of like when you said Hell House LLC is one of the funniest movies you've ever seen.
Okay, that's a good horror movie. If y'all haven't seen Hell House LLC, y'all need to get on your Amazon
It is very
Prime.
good. It's terrifying. Paul disagrees. He thinks it's funny.
I did not say it was. Okay, some parts are a little campy. It's a little funny in some parts, but it's one of my favorite horror movies, and there are some good scary parts, like the ending.
So, in 1976, Anne died.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert was locked in the attic. He was not buried with Anne, which I feel like Anne won out there.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be buried with that doll.
The home was purchased by Myrtle Reuter. She discovered Robert in the attic. Some claims that it was her daughter who brought him out, but she soon grew fearful of him and demanded that her mother get rid of him or lock him away.
Mm-hmm.
Myrtle was his caretaker for quite a while, for about 20 years.
Really?
Yeah. Over 20 years, if my math is correct.
Do you know if she, did some of the same things Gene did with Robert? Like, had his own room, his own clothes, things like that with the doll, or...
So, I didn't see that. I did see that he would move from room to room.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone in his presence badmouthed Gene, he would make a devilish face.
Okay.
But I didn't see she made him a room and she set him a place at dinner. Nothing like that.
See, it would have been weird if she did the same things that Gene was doing, because that could be some sort of possession or something.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like that. Finally, she just couldn't take it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So she donated him to the Fort East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert has lived at and been on display at the museum since 1994. Robert is now probably their most popular attraction, with thousands of people coming to visit him every single year.
Right.
And he is touted as the world's most haunted doll.
That's crazy.
No tea, no shade to Robert. But every haunted doll claims to be the world's most haunted doll.
Right. It's a good marketing thing.
It's
especially.
very good.
I mean, what is this museum he's even in? Would people really be going there if Robert wasn't there?
Probably not.
No tea, no shade, but...
I mean, some people who like museums would.
Mm-hmm. DJ slowly raising his hand for the folks at home.
I am one of those people who enjoy going to museums on vacation.
Oh, God.
But you know what? Even though he's in a museum and on constant display, the ghostly occurrences still occur.
Mm-hmm.
Visitors report that his chest will fall and rise as if he's breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Some will see him shift in his chair because he sits in a chair, and some people will be if you watch him long enough, he'll slowly move from one side of the chair to the other.
Mm-hmm.
Many have reported that they have been followed by bad luck or a curse following their visit.
I've heard that.
So here's where I'm going to get into a debunk.
Okay.
There's a common misperception that you have to ask Robert permission to take a picture of him.
Mm-hmm.
This is not true.
Do tell.
So, I have always heard, in reference to Robert the doll, you go in and you say, "Hello, Robert, can I please take your picture?" And if you don't, that's when the creepy stuff happen.
Mm-hmm.
The people at the museum have said, no, we get thousands of letters about Robert.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that say bad luck, it's very rarely I took a picture without asking permission.
Mm-hmm.
It's if you're disrespectful to Robert.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the bad luck follows you.
Mm-hmm.
Paranormal experts say you should never ask an entity for permission to do something, and you should never give it permission to do something. Because that's just opening a whole Pandora's box of spooky ooky possession attachment.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Well, good to know for the future.
It makes sense.
Yeah, because you're technically acknowledging it and inviting it, I guess.
Yeah, asking it for permission to take a picture is oh, you want a picture? You want a picture? I'll come home with you.
Right. You're interested. You're inviting me in.
You gonna set me a table at dinner?
Oh my gosh.
He gonna be at Thanksgiving? Can I come?
Oh my gosh.
They don't get that reference yet. I haven't posted it.
Well, it'll have been posted by now.
Hopefully by this time.
Yeah, for those who don't know what we're talking about, go check out my TikTok. Well, our TikTok. Crypts and Corks. Is it Crypts and Corks Pod on our TikTok? Is that our TikTok name?
I think it's just at Crypts and Corks.
At Crypts and Corks. And go check out Madame Cigarette Scar on our TikTok. See what you think.
So, people who have mocked him or disrespected him often will write apology letters. Museum curator Corey Convertito reports Robert gets 1 to 3 letters every day. And not only apologies, but well wishes, requested for advice, and the occasional request for Robert to hack someone for them.
Oh my gosh. Robert's famous, girl.
Robert now lives a fairly privileged life.
Mm-hmm.
He is visited by thousands all over the world. He is loved and talked about. He gets fan mail. He also gets offering of candy, money, and the occasional blunt.
A blunt?
The museum does not encourage that. Mm-hmm. They really frown upon that. But I saw from 2 different sources that people have left blunts for Robert.
Oh my god. Robert said 420, turn up.
Corey Convertito, who is the museum curator, is now Robert's caretaker.
Mm-hmm.
Once a year, she takes him out of his display case for a checkup to make sure he isn't disintegrating in the Florida humidity. She says he doesn't feel malevolent, and she reads his fan mail, processes gifts, and runs his social media. So in short, Robert has his own personal assistant.
Wow, I wish.
Robert leaves behind a really rich legacy. The story has been covered numerous times, numerous ways. It inspired a series of horror films, the first of which was just called Robert.
Oh, okay.
He has been featured in many paranormal investigation shows. He was visited by Zach Baggins on the series premiere of Deadly Possessions.
Mm-hmm.
And he was featured in an episode of the podcast Lore and the subsequent TV show.
Very nice. See, Robert's famous. He's that girl. He's an influencer.
Robert also has a line of merchandise.
Ooh.
You can get books about him. You can get t-shirts of him, posters, or a life-size replica.
Girl, I don't know about all that. Y'all can keep your life-size replicas. I mean, I'll take a poster, maybe a t-shirt, but y'all keep your life-size replicas. I don't need all that in my home.
I'm definitely I'm going to wait till you forget about it, and I'm just going to buy a life-size replica and have it delivered to your house.
Oh my god.
And say nothing.
That would be so... I'd probably put it outside, honestly, because I already have enough negative energy in my house.
It's not Robert. It's a lookalike. It's not possessed.
Mm-hmm.
You can visit Robert yourself at Fort East Martello Museum. I don't know why it's so hard for me to talk today.
It's fine.
Just remember to be respectful and don't disrespect him, or else you will have bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're really daring, you can stay in Robert's old room.
Oh, see, I'd do that. That sounds interesting.
The Otto House is now a bed and breakfast called the Artist House, and I was on the website for research. They really lean into the story, and I got some of this from that website.
Mm-hmm.
And they really lean into the story, but they encourage people to go stay in the turret room and see if you can see ghosts.
Has anyone seen anything? Do you know? Or...
It didn't say on the website.
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't see anything, honestly. I feel like the attachment was mainly with Robert. It didn't feel like it was with the house or anything.
No.
It's honestly the bed and breakfast thing seems more like a marketing thing.
Probably. But Paul, we're probably going to have to write letters to Robert after this. Not that we disrespected him, we just poked a little fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to say something, and it's definitely going to require a letter of apology because smash or pass Robert.
Smash or pass Robert? Girl, I mean...
Do you need a picture again?
No. Robert? Oh, he's a kid, so pass.
Okay.
Definitely, it's in a kid's body, so pass.
What about his stuffed dog?
Again, pass, because bestiality. We're not
it's
about...
It's a stuffed dog. It's a toy dog.
Pass.
Okay.
We're not about that on the pod.
Our families listen to this.
Right, exactly. So we're passing. I'd pass even if they didn't listen to it.
We're gonna hit pause and be like, actually, I really would smash that dog.
Oh my gosh.
I'm joking.
DJ's about that life.
No, I am not. Don't perpetuate rumors or I will curse you like Robert.
Oh my gosh. Let's start writing love letters to Robert.
No, so one of the things that I did want to do for this episode and I just ran out of time was I was gonna like write a little like, Robert, on Crypts and Corks, we love you, we admire you, we think your story is great. And we just wanted to like write a letter and share our admiration and like read it on the pod and then actually send it off to him. But I didn't have time to write it.
We can still write it. I mean, we definitely stan Robert the dog.
When we get pizza after this, we'll just like sit here with music on, writing letters to Robert.
I'm down.
I'm sure I can find some crayons in this house.
We're definitely gonna have to go see Robert.
Yes, I mean, even if we never go there on tour, our listeners are probably like, when are you going to announce the tour? When we have enough of you.
Right.
So tell your friends, tell your families, tell hobos on the side of the street to listen to us.
Yeah. Tell them to listen to crazy gay people talk about paranormal stuff and drink wine and just get crazy.
And tell them that it's so that DJ and Paul can go visit Robert, the love of our lives.
Right. I'm going to marry Robert. That's it. I'm going to be his new caretaker. Give me purpose.
That's the meme.
What? That I'm going to be Robert's new caretaker?
No, I'm going to marry Robert.
Oh.
I'm going to find a picture of a bride and groom, like a stock image. I'm going to like take your face, and I'm going to put it on the bride, and I'm going to put Robert's on the groom.
Oh my gosh. Jesus Christ.
Mark my words. All right, Paul, anything for the greater good?
No, just I'm excited to keep seeing what the holiday season, what you keep bringing forth for December for our special December episodes. And follow our TikTok, our Twitter, our Instagram, our Facebook page.
If you have personal stories you'd like to share, or if you have topic suggestions, please email us at cryptsandcorks@gmail.com.
Period. Sounds good.
And enjoy this time. If you love your family, I hope you get to spend lots of time with them. If you tolerate your family, it's still early December. Enjoy the calm before the storm. And remember, keep your crypts tight.
And your quirks loose. Bye.